My October surprise.
Well, we're certainly getting to the pointy end of the year at a rapid rate of knots. So here are the releases I saw from October that caught my eye in the hope that I might point out something that you may have missed. But first up, thank you to the organisers of the Scale Model Challenge over in Eindhoven. Most of you would have seen the video I put together last week. It was such a great show, and I just wanted to extend my sincere thanks to the organisers of that show. Hopefully that's inspired you guys to get involved in this community, in a model show, a local one, it doesn't matter where it is. Connecting with like-minded people is a massive part of this hobby, and I'd encourage you to do that. I picked up a heap of great stuff at the show, and of course I'll be highlighting and using some of that stuff over the coming months, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. While overseas as well, in England, I was lucky enough to get to Duxford and Bovington. Bovington has been on my bucket list for so many years, I can't begin to tell you how excited I was to go there, and I can't wait to bring you some content from those trips. And some of you might know they're restoring a Porsche turreted King Tiger over there to running condition. Very exciting. I got a chance to get up close and personal with that tank, and hopefully, hence the shirt, I can get involved in some way in the fundraising for that, but a little more on that later. Also, one last thanks, my Patreons. Honestly guys, I couldn't do it without you. We have 3 tiers over on that community page. Each one has a unique set of rewards. Every member, from the free memberships right up to my killer kangaroos, make a difference to me and help me continue to make this content. So if that's something that you think you may be able to help out with or get involved with, please come over and see us on the Patreon page. The links are in the show notes. But let's get started and talk about some models. And of course I picked one that I don't really know how to pronounce, and that's the Mejbrov R armoured car from Copper State Models in 1/35th scale. Now this is an oddball Russian armoured car from World War I, designed in 1915. And there weren't that many made of them. It has an interesting slope design that was built on the chassis of captured and imported vehicles, specifically some French Renaults and American trucks. It seems these things were deemed unfit for frontline use. However, it's an interesting part of the evolution of the World War I armoured car. This is the latest release from Copper State Models in their armoured car collection, and if history has anything to tell us, this one should be an absolute ripper. Some of their other kits, not that I've actually built one, but I've seen them built and seen them in the flesh, are absolutely stunning. And I've heard Copper State Models likened to the wingnut wings, obviously in the armour world. However, they just do things a little bit differently, and the kits build up so beautifully, which is why this armoured car has come in at number 10. I feel a little bad calling out another Tamiya kit. It feels a little bit predictable sometimes, but it just so happens every time Tamiya release a kit, I know it's going to end up sitting in my stash at some point. The Leopard 2 is used by over 20 countries, including Germany, Canada, Poland, Finland, Sweden, Spain, and the Netherlands. And more than that, has been proven in combat in Afghanistan. The Leopard 2's gun became so successful it's now used on other NATO tanks, and it famously outperformed the US Abrams tank in reliability and range during trials. It's often referred to as the king of the European tanks for its balance of speed, armour and firepower. This is the latest release in Tamiya's 48th scale armour range. Now 48th scale is often referred to as the Goldilocks scale because it is that great mix of 35th and 72nd packaged right in the middle. These kits are very buildable and reasonably affordable, and that is why they tend to find their way into these group build scenarios they make for just about the perfect subject. The lure of 16th scale is certainly growing stronger, with these large scale kits finding their way onto many a modeler's modelling bench. Personally, I haven't made the jump, but this is something that could tempt me. The Marder 2 is a German tank destroyer built on the chassis of the obsolete Panzer II tanks during World War II, armed with either a captured Soviet 76.2mm gun or the German 7.5cm Pak 40, which this kit has. It gave German infantry divisions much needed mobile anti-tank firepower, though its open-top design left crews highly exposed to shrapnel and small arms fire. But the thing I like most about this model is that open top, which gives us as modelers a chance to really go to town with the detailing on the interior surfaces of the kit. In 16th scale, the Panzer II chassis is still fairly manageable for most people, I would imagine, which is why I think if you're going to make the leap to 16th scale, this Gecko model's Marder 2 could be a good release for you to check out. Now, I've called this company out a couple of times before because their releases have looked really nice, but in fairness, I've never actually built one for myself. This month sees Lanmo model release 2 boxings of the Sd.Kfz 222 in 35th scale. The kit looks to come with a fully detailed interior, including an engine, transmission, hull structure, as well as movable suspension, articulated parts and hatches, which should give us a decent look at the interior. As expected these days, the kit also comes with photo etch and a brass barrel. As mentioned, 2 kits have been released here. One is the early war German version, and the second is a Chinese army version. The Sd.Kfz 222 is one of the most widely used German light armoured cars of World War II. Combining speed and firepower make this one a really attractive release for a standalone model or to place it in a diorama. Another company that keeps popping up on these lists is Zimmy Model, and this month sees them announce another kit, and that's the AH-6J Little Bird. It's a helicopter and it's in 35th scale. Now, Zimmy have picked up the old Kitty Hawk molds, as I understand it, and are refreshing these and adding things like brass barrels and upgrades and delivering them under the Zimmy Model brand. From what I've read online, the Kitty Hawk kit was a pretty reasonable kit, but suffered from ordinary instructions. Hopefully Zimmy have addressed those concerns that people have had online and will produce this kit into what it actually deserved to be. So to see it coming back on the shelves in an upgraded fashion is good news for the hobby. And the other attractive thing for this, or at least for me, is that it's in 1/35th scale, which means it's going to be easily paired with so many figures that are on the market today, and you could even pair it up with a modern armoured vehicle, say. That's why this one made the list. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the show, MPC are re-releasing and repackaging some of their old Space 1999 kits. I'm all about a sci-fi and movie tie-in, and as a child of the 70s, I grew up on a healthy dose of Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, and shows like Space 1999. Created in 1975 by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, and you might know those names because they're the team behind the Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet. Space 1999 ran over 48 episodes. Each episode cost around £125,000, which was the most expensive TV show series of the 1970s. The Eagle and the Hawk are some of the most recognisable sci-fi ships of all time, and it's great to see that MPC have paired these 2 ships in this recent re-release. Make no mistake, these aren't going to be high-level kits. They're going to be reasonable representations of these 2 ships, but this is more about nostalgia and a reminder of simpler times, and I don't have an Eagle in my collection, so this could be the good excuse to pick one up. This is one I suspect I may have alluded to on a previous video, but quite frankly, I'm too lazy to go back and look. But this one has popped back up on the radar because it was kind of re-released, announced at the All Japan Hobby Show, I think the week before last. Anyway, unimportant. It's the Bandai Mandalorian N1 Starfighter. I know you know it. It's from The Mandalorian, obviously, and like I said with the Space 1999 stuff, I am all about a tie-in. These kits are promoted as being snap fit, but as a scale modeler, I'm sure you won't be able to fight the urge to want to add some glue to it. In the past, these Bandai kits, the instructions all come in Japanese, and I have no reason to think that this one's going to be any different. But the instructions are generally pretty clear, and the numbers on the sprues and the way that's numbered are usually pretty easy to follow, so don't let that deter you if you're interested in this kit. From what I understand, the engines and the landing gear are movable, and the kit comes with a couple of figure options for the Mandalorian and Grogu, as well as a small droid figure. This is a really sleek and interesting ship in my opinion, and in 48 scale it's not going to be huge, but it should still make for a really interesting little display piece mounted on the base that it comes with in the kit. These Star Wars kits always sell out fast, and then a couple of months down the track they become just about impossible to find. So if you're in the least bit interested, make sure you hunt them down. And not that I advocate for doing it, but if you had one of these in the stash, I will guarantee you in 12 months time after you buy it, you'll probably be able to get double for it. So sell it to the wife as a small investment in your retirement.
It was an investment.
Now again with Tamiya, but I find this just impossible to leave out. I am of course talking about their recent release F14D Tomcat in 72nd scale. Their 48 scale version of the Tomcat was regarded as one of the most beautiful models. In fact, it probably still is regarded as one of the most beautiful modern jet releases of all time. And I've got no reason to think that this 72nd scale one would be any different at all. As you know, the Tomcat is a big plane, so even in 72nd scale, there's still going to be a lot of plastic in the box. The modeling news is reporting that the kit includes the wings as posable in different positions, as well as a number of interchangeable parts that depict ceiling plates and airbags in various positions. Horizontal stabilizers are movable thanks to polycaps, and modelers can choose between open or closed configuration for the fuel probe and the boarding ladder and step. And there are 5 markings in the box as well as 2 pilot figures. Most of us grew up watching Maverick buzz the tower in his Tomcat, which is why a lot of people of my vintage have a soft spot for this. One of the coolest things I did was introduce my children to Top Gun, although I don't think they thought it was as good as I did back in the day, but that's beside the point. This is going to be a popular release. Now, from what I can tell, this is going to be priced in the sort of higher range of the jets, but you're going to get a lot of model for your money, and I don't think that is particularly going to affect the sales of this kit. It's going to be popular, and I will definitely be grabbing one for myself. Now this is another one that I think I might have announced before, but it's popped back up on the radar and I'm that excited about it, I want to announce it again. And I saw this prototype made up at Shizuoka early in the year and it looks amazing, and I'm talking about the S-Tank from Hobby Japan in 35th scale. I've been really impressed with the stuff that I've seen from Hobby Japan, and I applaud them for dipping their toes into the world of the S-Tank. Designed in Sweden in the 60s, this turretless tank was unique and innovative, and it could use its suspension to pivot and tilt the whole vehicle to aim its gun. It never saw combat, but was highly regarded in NATO trials for its accuracy and rate of fire and its survivability in defensive roles. It's an interesting kit, and I won't go on too much further because I'm pretty sure now I'm talking about it. I've announced it before, but keep an eye out for it because I reckon this is going to be an absolute ripper. Now another movie tie-in and another glimpse into my past. I am a tragic for an Australian muscle car, and I spent a lot of my time as a younger person cutting my teeth on watching Mad Max movies, which is why I've announced this one as my #1 release. Well, there's actually two. There's an XA and an XB Ford Falcon from DDA, and they're in 1/24th scale. Now, these Falcons were the pursuit cars in the first film. They were the ones that were in the blue, red and yellow with the sirens on top. Now, the story is set in a near future in Australia, where society is starting to collapse due to oil shortages and rising anarchy. It's probably not that big of a stretch from the truth these days. The law enforcement body in the film is the Main Force Patroller, MFP. Its pursuit cars are one of the few symbols of remaining order and look completely awesome in their colour scheme with those lights on top. DDA are an Australian company and are known for their die-cast models, but the last few years have seen them dip their toes into the scale modelling arena, which is amazing because we're starting to get some of these iconic Australian muscle cars making their way onto Australians' modelling benches and modelling benches around the world for that matter. The XA and the XB have some subtle differences, mainly minor cosmetic differences as I understand it, but for the most part these versions are fairly similar. Now, as I understand it, DDA are fairly simplified models, but they do build and paint up into beautiful little display pieces. I just hope these releases come with all the decals and the markings for the MFP cars, because if they do, I can 100% guarantee these things are going to run off the shelf faster than the Knight Rider under pursuit.
I am the Knight Rider.
So what did you think? Did you see anything there you like? Did you agree? Did you disagree? Did I miss something? You know the drill. Let me know in the comments down below, because I'm loving making these videos, so I hope you're enjoying watching them too. When you get involved and there's feedback, I know you're enjoying the process and it helps keep me going. So many things planned in the run up to Christmas. As this video drops, I'm down in Canberra for Scale Act 25. Please, if you're going there, I've got a demo on the Sunday. If you're going, come along. I would love to see you there. Make sure you come and say g'day. I've got heaps of content coming up from my trip away. I'll be having a look at Bovington and Duxford, among many other things. So please keep an eye on the channel and get involved if you can. And remember guys, this is the greatest hobby in the world. Share it with your family and share it with your friends, and let's be proud of what we do. Until next time, I will see you soon.
Hey fella, you're a turkey, you know that?